Chapter 1. All the darkness in the world cannot extinguish the light of a single candle. St. Francis of Assisi. Nobody can be certain how the dog who was later designated Stray E10 came to be on the railway tracks that bitter night of 9th of January, 2012. Few could fathom what kind of human being would abandon a 5-month-old Anatolian Shepherd in a securely fenced-off area on a busy railway line with no means of escape. Those who found him thought he may have been clubbed around the head and face with a blunt instrument and thrown onto the line. Some reports claimed that he may have been tied to the tracks, and speculated that the wheels of the train severed his bonds, allowing him to escape further injury. Only one person knows the full story: the man with a foreign accent who was responsible for the defenceless animal that night. He was spotted briefly on the tracks by a railway operations manager minutes before the dog was found, but he scurried off into the darkness before any searching questions could be asked. Not surprisingly, he never came forward to claim the animal he'd left behind. No matter what the precise circumstances of the events that led to the near-fatal mutilation of the handsome young dog, everyone agrees that it was an act of barbaric cruelty. It could have been the work of a madman, or the result of a deal gone wrong. Perhaps the long-legged hound was no longer cute enough to make his breeder the £500 plus that Anatolian Shepherds frequently fetched. He might have been as large as a Labrador, but he was still only a puppy, and puppies can be both demanding and expensive. Nor does anyone know exactly what happened next. The driver who first reported hitting an animal on the line wasn't even initially sure it was a dog, and he certainly didn't believe the creature could have survived the impact. Part of him must have hoped that its death had been quick and painless. The first miracle, though, is that the dog wasn't killed outright. Somehow, as the goods train bore down upon him, he managed to flatten himself against the track bed and avoid fatal injuries. Sadly, he was unable to escape the train altogether, and the wheels almost severed his back left leg. The second miracle is that, driven by an innate instinct to escape from danger, he somehow managed to lift his shattered body onto his uninjured legs and limp away, leaving a telltale trail of blood. There can be no disputing that he would have been in acute pain as he pulled himself across to what he must have hoped was a place of safety, where he slumped between adjacent tracks. Little did he know that in that busy rail corridor, with only narrow shingle banks on either side, he was still directly in the line of freight and passenger traffic. No one can know how long after the first impact the abandoned Anatolian Shepherd lay there in the cold, without food or water, losing blood, sniffing at and occasionally licking his wounds. Further train drivers who spotted him near what is known locally as the Ruckholt Road Junction, on the edge of Hackney Marsh and Leighton, alerted staff working in the operations control room. Someone there then contacted the network's mobile operations manager, Nigel Morris, and asked him to investigate. But it was decided not to shut down the vital rail lifeline until there had been a direct sighting of the injured animal and confirmation that it was still alive. Carrying a torch and letting himself into the secure area via a locked metal gate, Nigel began searching for a dog on the line. The area where it had been sighted was extremely busy that night, with a total of 4 lines carrying passenger trains to London Stansted Airport and Cambridge, as well as freight trains to and from the goods yard. Nigel was initially directed to the Temple Mills area, where barking had been heard, but it turned out to be a guard dog patrolling a locked trading estate. He started making his way back down the track in the other direction, when suddenly he came across a man walking along the line towards him in the dark. The heavy-set stranger had 2 huge dogs.